Good afternoon, Terraria players, and welcome to the finale of my playthrough of the Elements Awoken mod for Terraria. I misspelled Awoken in my script. God help me. I am Bladeburger, and hoo boy, we are in for a doozy of an episode. It is the finale after all. Here's a list of the mods that were used in this episode, excluding any minor ones that are just small quality of life things, like a mod that opens doors or a mod that makes extractinators faster. Stay tuned next week for my review, and then next mod to play through afterwards. I've already begun recording that one, and it's a ton of fun so far. Hope you all stick around for that. Now, let's take a look back at last episode. Thanks for joining me in a look back at last episode. We've resumed this adventure with a new boss, the Temple Keepers. But before that fight, however, I went to the underground to look around and found what that message about Luminite blessing the world's caverns was about, and I found Luminite ore in the ground very deep down. Neat feature, I like it. And now let's take on the first boss of the rest in the finale, the Temple Keepers. Temple Keepers down. Their expert mode item allowed you to make a shield by pressing an ability key. It pushed away enemies and projectiles. To be honest, I didn't think it was strong, but man, I got punished for that with the next boss. Before that though, I took to farming a bit for infinity crystals, and I actually got one. I then made the crystal cracker, which allowed me to make cracked infinity crystals out of the infinity crystal and a neutron fragment, which was made from combining all the lunar essences into this crafting material. They then combined with the elemental essences to make the infinity stones. The stones all gave varying buffs, but only one could be in your inventory at the time. They all combined with the empty gauntlet to make the infinity gauntlet. Thanos time. I crafted the moonstone first, which gave increased flight time and speed. I then crafted the Lament 3, the upgrade to the Lament 2. It fired a wave now instead of just bolts. Yay! I then found out that the storyteller sold the empty infinity gauntlet. How not suspicious at all. With the gauntlet bought, I then set my sights on the next boss, the Guardian. I was not good at this fight. In between attempts, I crafted Eoit's armor to try and see if it helped. Is it pronounced Eoit? Eot? Eoit? Eio? I don't know. It did not help that much. I made the Pyro Stone, which increased my damage and set enemies on fire. I lost again, so I went with a new strat. Back to Nebula armor and reforged everything to warding. This attempt was actually successful, so here's the fight. Enjoy! Guardian down. Tough fight. Its expert mode item increased damage by 10% while in the underworld, as well as giving immunity to fire debuffs. It also lights stuff on fire. Neat. Next up, another farming session. This time for the Strange Idol, which went into the Great Thunder Idol, an artifact that went into the Elemental Arcanum. A lot of things go into a lot of things. I had so few left to go to craft this mega accessory. It was just within my grasp. I then farmed Pyroplasm in the dungeon, which was probably the single most important crafting material in the entirety of the endgame. It dropped from a certain enemy in the dungeons, and wasn't too hard to kill. It was used in just about everything from this point on. After farming up a bunch, I was able to craft the Dark Pearl, which summoned a new event, the Dawn of the Void. How menacing. I started the event, but died before Phase 2 began, so I'll show off a bit of Phase 1 here. After I died, the event ended, so I went to make some upgrades for materials I had gotten. A new essence, Void Essence, dropped from all the enemies during the event. I was able to make the Tome of Infinity, a magic weapon that acted like a Shadow Flame Hex doll. I got a Gem of the Universe during the Dawn of the Void event, so I made the Nano Core, another one of the artifacts. I upgraded my boots to the Boots of the Void, which was made of some Void Essence, Master Ninja Gear, Luna Wings, and a couple of other things. I then crafted the Death Stone, another Infinity Stone which gave 50 more health and had a chance to just straight up kill normal enemies. Now, I return to taking on the Dawn of the Void. I won't show the full thing as it's a full nighttime, but I will skip around in Phase 1 and 2. Enjoy! Dawn of the Void defeated. Neat event. Don't like the wings debuff, but eh. Now on to more farming. To the underworld I went to get the pieces to another artifact, the last one to complete the Arcanum. Each artifact has an item that is a 1% chance to drop from any enemy in a certain biome. One from the desert, one from the underworld, one from the ice biome, sky, ocean, and so on and so forth. I got the last one after a while of farming, and crafted the Chaos Flare Flask, then combined all the artifacts into the Elemental Arcanum. It did quite a lot. Here's a list of all of its effects. Definitely an endgame item. Nice. To prepare for the next boss, I made Eoit's Wrath, a beam weapon that definitely did way too much damage, reaching 25k easily. Time to take on the next boss, Volcanox. Here's a 30-second fight. Enjoy. Volcanox down. The Eoit's Wrath may be a little silly. Anyways, the expert mode item for this boss was just an upgraded Heart of the Frost. It increased damage by 10%, crit chance by 6%, and armor penetration by a massive 20. It also lights enemies on fire. Next up, I made Crow's Armor, which was just an upgrade of Nebula Armor and the final armor set of this mod. Weird. It gave a lot of buffs to magic damage and mana cost, and with a set bonus made healing lightning whenever I dealt damage. Was it good healing? Absolutely not. Not enough to be noticeable in the next few fights anyways. Speaking of fights, let's get to the next boss, as it is a pseudo boss rush. The Void Leviathan. Fun fight. It's expert mode you don't care at this point, do you? I just say this just to say it. Anyways, its expert mode item made Laser's Rain, as well as giving immunity to debuffs the spots inflicted. It also allowed Void to charge up to a certain amount, then discharge at the press of a button, reducing movement speed but increasing damage and shooting projectiles out. I really should test these things next time I do a playthrough. Maybe next time. Onwards! When it died, Void-Eye ore spawned in the world. If I had a nickel for every modded playthrough I've done on this channel that spawned Void-related ore in the world upon the defeat of a boss, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. From the Void Leviathan, I was able to make Void Ash, which went into Void-Eye bars. As for the ore, it spawned pretty rarely in the underground. When I say rarely, I most certainly mean rarely. I could go easily 5 minutes of digging without seeing the tiny veins it spawned in. I dug literally across the world to look, and was only able to get 68 bars from the entirety of the world. However, it was surprisingly just enough to get me through the rest of the game. I crafted the Unity, which gave an assortment of magic buffs. It went into the Cerulean, which also gave a lot of magic buffs. I then made the Asterox, which seemed like a class-neutral defensive accessory. It gave 12 defense, increased armor penetration, and life regen, as well as making a damaging shield around the player, and gave 20 movement speed. Nice accessory. Too bad it and the Unity went into another accessory, the Neo Virtuo. Okay, I had to make another unity for this, as Cerulean needed one, as well as a Neovertero. The Neovertero allowed you to press an ability key to make a portal with shot homing attacks. Did I forget to use this throughout the rest of the playthrough? Absolutely. I would then farm for the last infinity crystals needed to make the infinity gauntlet. How did I do it? The meat grinder. Make a ramp that enemies can't escape from on 2 sides, then put lava at the bottom of it. 1 bucket though, as you don't want to destroy the money that drops. Traps are optional, but I added them because why not? Make sure to have space to stand underneath. Profit. I sat there for over an hour and a half, managing to get 4 infinity crystals. I only needed 3, but I'll take 4. I then crafted the rest of the stones. The Arid Stone, which gave immunity to strong winds and 10% movement speed. The Aquatic Stone, which gave 50 max mana and uninhibited water movement. The Frigid Stone, which lit nearby enemies with frostburn and increased crit chance. Finally, I had them all. The power within my grasp. The Infinity Gauntlet was mine. It had a multitude of effects on right-click, from raining rocks to blasting fire to granting a shield. The thing that stopped me from using a lot of the effects in a boss battle, however, was the teleport effect. You can't really pick and choose which power you have to go through. You have to keep clicking through all of them to get to the one you get to, and one of them was a teleport that opened the map, so it was very obstructive. I knew it would kill me in a fight, so I only used the fire when attempting to fight Azana, the next boss. Here's the just kidding, my software crashes. I've recorded almost 15 attempts at this fight with 1 success, which is currently the most that I've done in this mod. 15 attempts. The one in the background is an attempt before it crashed. I unfortunately didn't realize until it was too late, and I was not willing to record another. Hated this boss, honestly. I then realized it crashed after opening the treasure bag. Fun. I quickly stopped the recording, saw that it crashed, and then started up another one. Its expert mode item gave a 10% damage buff and 5% crit chance increase, and allowed the player to press a hotkey to make a shield that absorbed damage and buffed the player as they took damage. I really need to test these out at some point. It dropped a new magic weapon that was both good and bad, the Virulent Gleam. It dealt a lot of damage and exploded into a bunch of projectiles when it hit. The projectiles just vanished when a lot went on screen. Sometimes it would show that I'm using the thing, but no damage happened and no projectiles went out. It really showed during a random Martian invasion that I had. I then made the Chaotron Crucible, which allowed me to make Chaotron Alloy. It allowed me to make a few items that didn't seem too good, as well as the Void Fruit, which gave another accessory slot. However, it required a Demon Heart, which I could not obtain on this character as I had already used a Demon Heart. You know how many Wall of Flashes I farmed to try and get another Demon Heart? It didn't really work. I then took on the next event, the Radiant Rain. It randomly spawned at a 25% chance when rain started. The event rained down damaging stars and summoned new enemies every so often. It lasted for as long as rain does, which was quite a while. At the end of boss spawn, the Radiant Master. Here's the fight until it literally despawned and I couldn't kill it. Hooray! Now, I would take on the final boss, the Ancients. Here's how the first attempt went.
577 damage. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I then went to finish off my suite of upgrades, upgrading my boots to the boots of Nyan. I then made a new weapon, the Ceres Curtains. It was the weapon I'd use instead of the Gleam, as the projectiles actually didn't disappear when there was a lot going on. I then fought the Lunatic Cultist to get a magic equipment, the Celestial Idol. It gave 10 defense, 20% increased magic damage, and inflicted ancient decay and made fallen stars rain down on hit. A very strong equipment. Now, I would take on the Ancients. Totally not my 8th attempt. Here's an overview of equipment before the fight. And now, on to the boss fight. And the Ancients were defeated, and this mod was complete. Almost. Its treasure bag contained an item from its loot pool, an item that allowed you to craft summon for refights to this boss, and its expert mode item, which allowed you to hit a hotkey to have all your attacks crit for 10 seconds. Seems strong. Unfortunately, I was not able to place its trophy on my wall of trophies because it did not have a trophy. Very unfortunate. As for the final thing I did in this world, to round out this series, I crafted the Lament 4 to finish it out. The final upgrades were from the Nebula armor all the way to Crow's armor. I went from the Aquatic Waders all the way to the Boots of Neon. I added the Neo Vertero and the Cerulean to my arsenal, as well as the Charred Insignia and the Celestial Idol. I went from the Nebula Blaze to the Cerise Curtains for weapons. And now the series is finished. I hope you all enjoyed this playthrough. Stay tuned for the review to follow, as well as the next series to come right after, which will be revealed at the end of the review. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Blade Burger out.